To 14 months. What's up, Spikelings? It's me, your friend, brewer and pet deck destroyer, Spike, and welcome to my Shark Typhoon. Today we're going to show off the true power of this fully operational collected company deck, Greasefang 1.2 in Modern. Let our opponents quake in fear of a quick Parhelion, shiver in surprise as our Coco produces a Planeswalker, and just generally lose to all our value. And don't forget to take advantage of the best value to all subscription to Aspiring Spike on Twitch. So, we were playing this on Thursday. I think we were 7-3 with the deck. The general idea is that Greasefang, Goblin Engineer, a two-card combo that you can collect a company into. So even if you don't have a board state, you can sometimes collect a company into Greasefang Engineer or Greasefang Satyr Wayfinder, just put a Parhelion into play with 0 permanents. Both cards also get Unearthed, and we've already explored this package of like a collected company plus Unearthed with a lot of, powerful 2 and 3 mana creatures in the past and liked it. So I think it makes a lot of sense to try it in this shell, where in this deck you have relatively high card quality with Seasoned Pyromancer, Grist, collected company, and you're able to use these cards that really exploit 3 mana creatures. They really maximize the potential of 3 mana creatures to power up the Greasefang combo. The big update from today is we're playing Tidehollow Sculler. I was playing a copy of Bray's Apprentice and a copy of Spellskite, which are both kind of medium last time, just so that Goblin Engineer would have some value beyond just putting Parhelion in the graveyard. And Tidehollow Sculler actually gives it a lot of extra value, where you can play a Tidehollow Sculler, sack a Sculler, bring back a Sculler sometimes, and that card gets permanently exiled. You can bring back a Sculler in your opponent's draw step sometimes, take their draw step card. Kind of not a huge interaction, but just giving that energy engineer a little bit of extra value is nice. And then playing a discard effect like this in your combo deck is also valuable just to protect your combo. I'm also playing Knight of Autumn over Outland Liberator now, partially to hedge against burn. I really wanted to fit a anti-burn sideboard card in the deck, and so I was thinking that if we just cut the Liberators for Knight of Autumns, then we kind of cover the same bases that Liberator is covering, but now we also have Knight of Autumn for burn. A little bit worse with Unearth, a little bit worse individually, but also better to collect a company into. Okiba, thank you to Twitch Prime. Bizarro, the 12 months, thank you. I think that's all the updates. I have the 4th Sculler in the sideboard, 3 main, 1 side. I was kind of waffling back and forth on the numbers. I think that the list I had in the stream decker yesterday had the 4th Sculler in the main and the 3rd Grist in the sideboard, but I think you really want that 11th 3 mana spell in the deck in your collected company Unearth deck. Maybe even with 12, 11 is you probably never really want to go too far below that. And Grist is also good in the deck, just that incidental mill that you get with Grist and Satyr Wayfinder to find something for Unearth to mill over a Parhelion is pretty valuable. Okay, I'm going to keep this. Probably going to get a Temple Garden here. What's our plan B? Well, it should be kind of clear, right? Your plan B is Greasefang, Seasoned Pyromancer, Grist, just playing a regular value Coco game plan. Let's go up against Affinity here. Yeah, you already have the Mystic Forges, you have the Karns. You do have a lot of advantage already for sure. So I think I may just go double Dork next turn. We'll see. If I draw a Parhelion, I can go discard Parhelion, discard Greasefang, Unearth the Greasefang. Being able to draw against Affinity is a little scary in this spot. This list could be a thing like Black Red Rock. Well, I know. Well, Bolt you always wants to know about the Black Red Rock deck. I think this deck is very different from that one. I don't think that they're very comparable, no. Okay, I love that my Birds of Paradise is what got by the Metallic Rebuke. That being said, I have a decision on if I want to Unearth the bird this turn. I think no. Just the ability to discard Grist or Greasefang and Unearth that next turn is a much bigger mana advantage. Canister announced a no banless tourney today. Any chance I'll play? I mean, maybe there's a chance. I don't have a huge interest in no ban list modern, and I'm also pretty busy these days. But I'll look into it. Okay, Parhelion would be best draw. No Parhelion. Yeah, I think I'll just go discard both my 3-drops here. Oh no, they just have another Rebuke. Okay. So I don't think I can just unearth the Seasoned Pyromancer and lose my Grist, or sorry, lose my Greasefang. So I think I'll just attack for 2. Remember that your Parhelion does get exalted, so instead of hitting for 13, we'll be hitting for 15. If we can get a Parhelion down. Oh, dude, the main deck Tormod's Crypt. This has definitely been, or at least our experience yesterday was we're getting got a lot by the like main deck Urza Saga targets just being drawn. Weird for it to be Crypt over Relic, but I guess it makes sense in the affinity cards. Have I noticed having to click twice for pierce effects like rebukes? I haven't noticed that, no. I have not noticed that. Okay, main phase construct token is a bit weird. Let's see if they want to Tormod's Crypt here, and then they do. I can kind of punish them for. I could minus try to kill the construct, and that maybe is our only line. But then I can't draw Engineer and get a Parhelion into play. Although we're probably just a bit too behind as is. Sideboard things get a lot better. We have 3 Force of Vigor, 3 Knight of Autumn. Definitely feeling good about our chances post board. It asks you twice if you want to play kind of a kick in the gut every time. I haven't noticed that. Maybe I just like haven't been paying for it, you know. Okay, they're gonna needle the Greasefang, or so the Grist. Yeah, I mean the Tintin tokens are just bigger than what I've got going on. Maybe I just concede to not show them that I'm on Greasefang. I think that makes some sense. Maybe they know it's up, but I think that makes some sense to me. Bring in the forces, gonna bring in the knights, gonna cut these scholars, I think, in this matchup. Probably can cut the 3rd Parhelion. And then especially in a matchup like this where our mana elves don't die very often, I think Satyr Wayfinders can get cut. We can just be more in on Engineer plus Greasefang to try to mill it over or discard it. Although we'll still do that some amount of the time. And this is 27 hits for company, which is fine. You like the black-red scam deck that Dingo's playing? Yeah, that deck's good. That deck's good. I've also really been liking the black-red sacrifice scam deck lately. After 7 leagues, I have an 80% win rate with the deck still. It's been really good. Been playing this list with Esper Sentinel, it's felt really good. I feel like it's hard to play Sentinel over a Mana Dork, but it's interesting. Obviously, more value for Engineer. Yeah, you can target Urza Saga with enchantment removal, and you can even do it in response to the Urza Saga getting the ability to tap for mana. Okay, on the play. So interesting hand. No way to discard the Parhelion. No Force of Vigor. No Knight of Autumn. I think we just can, or Mulligan. All right. Seems like a keep to me. I think I'm getting just a basic forest here. Although maybe I should have got enough of the Wooded Foothills, but we should have plenty of smooth mana this game. What do you think about Grinding Station? The Grinding Station deck, if that's what you're talking about, is good and underplayed, and I've felt like it's been good and underplayed for months and months now, really. Alright, definitely need to draw some action. Not sure if this qualifies. I think I need to get a white source here. Definitely just gonna put myself in the position to be able to top deck a Greasefang. Pass to you. Tech for Gaming, if you want to post a link in the chat, I can take a look. Well, I guess my somewhat wishful thinking that they wouldn't bring in Graveyard Hate. I guess they did see the Unearth. And we are getting kind of flooded. Your 2 mana sources. Okay. Love to draw the Collected Company. Attack with the Engineer. Mala, thank you for the 7 months. Appreciate you. Tombstalker is an embarrassing Magic card. Murktide in a Smallpox deck is probably like quintessential Lost in the Sauce. I don't think that playing this card in a Smallpox deck makes it like almost any sense. I think like the idea is that you're gonna, you know, grind your opponent out of resources, then you're gonna play a big Murktide. But you know, the reality is, yeah, I saw. She'll follow you back in there. The reality is that like, people are not just like so cold to Murktides like they used to be. Basically, nobody is leaving home without the ability to answer a Murktide Regent. And I think that like there are other win conditions you can play that are just not like the worst card possible to pair with Smallpox. You already have the Lingering Souls in there, but there's different directions to go. This kind of just like also looks a lot like, you know, blue is your favorite color. Blue is your favorite color. I'm gonna play Jace the Mind Sculptor in my Smallpox deck. Even though it seems very tough on the mana. The Teferis are fine. I don't know. Jace is fine too. Okay, hold on. Let's see what we want here. So I could just get Greasefang, Goblin Engineer, but then I don't have another Parhelion even in the deck anymore. Let's just get the value cards. Grist, Seasoned Pyromancer. Need to keep drawing some stuff though. The Spiral Jaws were not that good. Yeah, I mean, I also think Void Rend is like not a playable card in Modern, and I would really caution you against playing it at all. I want to see you play some Inquisitions of Kozilek in this deck. I usually like Vindicate in the Smallpox shell. But in general, I think you're just kind of lost in the sauce. I don't think the Murktides or the Void Rends or like the Blue Splash in general makes much sense. I don't think that you have a blue card count for Force of Negation in general either. Glintless Crane? What the hell? Is this like a normal thing? Another land. Pretty bad for us. Opponents definitely stumbling though. They definitely have a very slow reactive draw with lots of sideboard cards. Then Elevation, thank you for the 13 months, and then Mallow with the 7th. Yeah, I don't think I have too many more thoughts. Have I seen the Creativity Footfalls deck? I've seen Creativity in the Rhino shelf, if that's what you're asking. It's fine. I think it's like a little high on the curve though, but it's interesting. You lose a lot of some of your cheap interaction, but it's fine probably. Okay, opponent's in the tank. It's a weird start to the league, I feel. Okay, another Crane. So they definitely have like multiple action spells in their hand if they're like tanking before playing a Crane, right? Into Thought Monitor. We can actually hardcast a Parhelion if we draw one. Tradespin has the 20 land count, felt too low in a world of Ridden 6. Is that what the 4 Wayners have? Yeah, I mean, with 4 Satyr Wayfinders and 7 mana dorks, I do not feel like this deck has too few mana sources. If anything, I feel like I get flooded, you know, a bit too often. I thought I had a stop till and step. Dang it. Okay, hold on. Let me attack with the Seasoned Pyromancer. I guess my Grist Ultimate's not going to do anything in the face of all this. I was thinking I could go like Satyr Wayfinder, Grist Ultimate, and get like a cheeky amount of damage off. Pioneer RCQs, Weekend Black Red Sacrifice, Band Flasher, Brood, Jund mid-range. I think that Jund mid-range, is any list I've seen, has been worse than Rakdos, but I think Bant is fine. I'm not a big fan of Rakdos, Sack, and the world of mono green. It's one of the worst feelings playing Magic when you're stumbling, you're mana flooded, you're top decking a lot of air, and then your opponent's just playing very slowly. And they're making you wait forever to see that next card. Cutting to fairies, the board for rejection. I've been struggling against Tron. My general thinking is that Tron is like such an unwinnable matchup that like 2 ceremonious rejections like still make the matchup a complete nightmare. You could try to respect it more and play like 4 or something like that, but yeah, the matchup is definitely a total nightmare. And I think in general, like, you're mostly just trying to dodge it. Ginger Brute. Any cranial platings? Yep. This is lethal, right? Yes, super lethal. Okay, rough start. Kind of mana flooded both games. Awkward mulligan this game too. I don't think we're supposed to go to 5. And you do cast it, but it does nothing because that card is generally really weak. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like I don't think that is an outrageous position to hold. I wasn't being serious. So there you have an opinion. All right, well, I guess I never get to debate anybody, huh? I don't know. I do also feel like that's a good lesson in deck building. Rant or no, serious or no. Like there's a lot of cards that trick you into thinking that they're good, but they're only in there because they're crazy when you're winning. But you know you would win the game if that card wasn't in your deck, and you'll lose games because it is. Yeah. I know Teferi is a way to lower your combo threshold. I understand why it's there. I totally get that. But here's the thing about mono green, especially because like Lotus Field and Pioneer is almost non-existent. Like when you're going off and you're going crazy, you don't usually need to win the game that turn. You know, you are in mono green, you usually just need to bury them in value the turn you're making tons of mana and tapping, blah 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 blah. Actually needing to win the game immediately, I don't think is that relevant. Like once you turn the corner with mono green, it's really hard to fall back behind. Ooh, milled over Parhelion, perfect. What's an example of that philosophy trap in Modern? I would say like Tezzeret, Agent of Bolas is a good example. There's definitely better examples. Hold on. I mean, like recently in this Dice Factory deck, people keep suggesting Reality Heist. They keep suggesting Emery. They keep suggesting Tezzeret's Gambit. But you know, I think those cards in like this all-in, you know, it's kind of funny that we're because they're 2 different combo decks. But in an all-in combo deck like this one, that's trying to be as fast as possible. Kind of the opposite way that mono green is just fine being a general value deck. It's just kind of the opposite actually. Like you don't want those slow grindier cards. Oh, Rings of Brighthearth I actually think is good. So I didn't know why people kept suggesting Rings of Brighthearth because I'm like not familiar with the EDH combo. Are they just dead? Turn 3. But apparently Rings of Brighthearth a key and they have Beseiju maybe? Kolaghan's Command? Okay. So we can theoretically just do this again next turn. So a key, Rings of Brighthearth, and a Chalice with 4 more counters is infinite mana. And then you can also like get 2 Karn activations sometimes, which is not that relevant because you have to Karn for it most of the time. But it's interesting. I ended up putting in the sideboard over the Ratchet Bomb since I I was basically never getting Ratchet Bomb anyways. Like, I just, like, never ever tutored for that card. Only Voltaic Key combos with 3, not Manifold. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know Manifold couldn't untap itself. Okay. Beginning of combat. They have another one. Why didn't they exile my graveyard if they had another charm? Did I learn about the combo from the Felton guy? No. It was somebody else on Twitter, though. Okay, we could Seasoned Pyromancer out of fear and cowardice here. But I don't want to discard my second Greasefang. And I don't want to discard just, 2 lands. I also would have liked to hit a second creature. We have 29 hits for Collected Company in this deck. Is what it is. Seeing the name of the next card drawn. That one hasn't been redeemed in a while. I'll try to remember. This is a modern Dice Factory deck we're talking about. Yeah, we've been playing a lot on stream. It's a Dice Factory combo deck trying to take infinite turns with Magistrate's Scepter. Yeah, 29 hits. So it's very easy when in these lists to say, oh, Spike, this says 26 creatures. But Grist is a hit-off company, so it's 29. Then the Team of Battle Rage is the last card. Okay, we chump blocked, and they could have drawn a card off the bauble there too. That was an early concession, actually. So I think in this matchup, I want the endurances, and I can go like -1 Parhelion II Sculler. Again, I think in these like fair, grindy 1-for-1 matchups, like Sculler is just like a bit dopey. Oh, sorry, I didn't sing the name of the next card. Oh, I didn't draw my next card because they just conceded. Okay, so I'll sing the first card in my left in my opening hand. Why is Sculler in the deck again? It gives you another way. It gives you a way to use Goblin Engineer for value. So you can, if you have 2 Scullers, you can play a Sculler, sack it with the trigger on the stack, Sculler in their draw step. And I do think like giving Engineer the ability to give you some value when you already have a Parhelion in the yard, which is somewhat common, is important. And then Sculler can also like protect the combo too. The Scullers replaced Bray's Apprentice, Spellskite, Ren and 6 can't stay away. Although like 3 Scullers came in for 3 of those cards, and then I also brought in the 3rd Grist in the main deck, which is something I wanted access to. Okay, Birds of Paradise. They're making you sack just to make you tap your blocker instead of X on the graveyard. Maybe. I feel like that line was better if they had more action, which they didn't. I feel like X on the yard would have been better. Okay. So they either have to take Collected Company or Unearth. If they take any of my other creatures, I just get to Unearth it. So they take the Collected Company. They could have killed the Grease. Oh yeah, they could have also just killed the Greasefang. Yeah, they could have just also killed the Greasefang. Probably we're supposed to lose that game, huh? Magic's a hard game. Yeah, good old Thoughtseize bug. You can play the Black Source so that I can Unearth without paying life next turn. If I mill over like Greasefang, Parhelion, or something crazy. I do mill over Goblin Engineer, so I can just be 1 mana, put a Greasefang or a Parhelion in the yard if I need to. Although next turn I think we're almost definitely going to Grist. Our mana's pretty good. I think I'll probably just get a Swamp off the Catacombs. Ooh, 1/1 Shadow, Stonewalled by the Satyr Wayfinder. Almost definitely just going up with this Grist, right? Yeah, just gonna go up. Me and Lizard think of the 22 months. Okay, milled over a Greasefang. So this means that me drawing another Unearth or a Engineer will give me the ability to Parhelion. And my opponent's at 12, so they're just dead too. Could also just try to company into both next turn if they don't Thoughtseize me. Attacking the Grist. If they have Team or Battle Rage, they can get rid of it. Oh, well, I'm gonna block the Death Shadow. There's no way this trade happens though, right? Like 0% chance. Let's make them use something. Bolts themselves. Okay. Okay, so if I mill over a Parhelion, I'll just unearth the Greasefang. So plus first. Did not, so we'll, I think, collect a company. Dude, this is outrageous. This is unfair. I have more hits for Coco in this deck than like any other Coco deck I've ever played. I'm usually like right at 27, sometimes 28. I guess I did go down to, I think I went down to 27 post board here. That card just hates me, I guess. They're dead to my Greasefang ultimate. I also have you know, Unearth Engineer Greasefang. Sorry, I keep calling Grist Greasefang and Greasefang Grist today. Okay, Lightning Bolt the Grist. Yeah, it's like the third time I've done that today. I think I should have attacked these first, but not a huge thing. Okay, well, we're on the scoreboard, 1-1, I think. Can't Fatal Push me. I don't know, maybe there's something they can have. At this point, there's not. Oh, what if they fog me? Okay. The hand that's definitely good enough to keep, and is also like, you know, pretty cool too. A Red and 6. Can you Spore Frog loop in Modern? You can, but the issue with like Spore Frog or any other like fog loop is like if you fog every single turn doesn't beat almost any deck. Or maybe that's it beats a few decks. It beats like Hammer Time, but like eventually Murktide's gonna find a counter spell. Okay, hold on. Eventually Murktide's gonna find a counter spell. Eventually decks of Planeswalkers are gonna ultimate. Decks, you know, Titan's gonna kill you with Valakut triggers. There's just very few decks that like a Spore Frog loop beats besides like exactly Hammer Time. Burn's gonna kill you with burn spells. Greasefang, nice pickup. If they kill it, we have Unearth. Do you have any Sophy, Rallier combo decks in the holster? I played this for like a league once. Not that long ago. I was kind of bored. I don't know. It was. I don't think it was playing Unearth. But what was cool about this deck is you could neoform. You could neoform any of your 2s into a Renegade Rallier, get back your 2, and then hold on. Okay, so but you could also neoform your 2 into a Ranger Captain. Ranger Captain can find you Viserys here, or Carrion Feeder, but usually Viserys here to scry into your blasting station when you have your Sophy Rallier loop. Panda the deck tech. Okay, surely my opponent has unsleeved their Solitudes. Nope. Yeah, I don't know if I put this list together before Specialists existed or not. Let's see, they exiled the Prismatic Ending. Maybe I was supposed to attack them to put them to lethal if I Greasefang them this turn. Okay, it looks like they're gonna do that for me. Blue-white Ephemerality. I mean, these blue-white affinity decks are just, like, the hardest ever to build. There's so much, like, nuance and back and forth when it comes to them. I'm just gonna jam this Coco. They could have a counterspell, but just jamming. Oh, dress down in response is interesting. Okay, so I'll just get Greasefang, Sculler, I guess. Just put as much power to play as possible with the ability to Greasefang next turn, and I have Unearth to get back to Greasefang too. Yeah. So if I attack them, I put them down to 11. Omnath Fetchland gains 3, so up to 14. And then I can attack with Engineer and Sculler next turn to kill them. If they do go Omnath Fetchland into something. Okay, I think Gluttonous Crane almost definitely can't make the cut here. Oh, the idea is that you want to play Ephemerate in the Urza deck. I've tried this a couple of times, and it's just so tough to play Ephemerate. Enough creatures that care about Ephemerate, and then a density of artifacts for cards like Thought Monitor, Urza, Gluttonous Crane. Right now you have 4, 12, 15 cards for Ephemerate, which is bare minimum. And then you have 10, 14, 18, 22 artifacts, which just feels a bit too low. Oh, dude, all this exile-based removal is so brutal. If it's just, you know, not exile-based, we're in such good shape here. All right, mill over another Greasefang. Not quite that lucky. I'll go ahead and attack with the Sculler, I guess. I think Ephemerate has almost never been in Thoughtcast. I don't know if that's true, but yeah, it's like if you play Thoughtcast over Ephemerate in these decks, like you don't have to lower card quality with Gluttonous Crane, you don't have to diminish artifact synergies with Solitude, and Thoughtcast is going to be, you know, usually better too, just more consistent. I think that's like, you know, the main thought. Sideboard seems like totally fine for this idea, but I think that's my general take on this take. Couldn't you have sacked the Tidehollow to get Parhelion? No, Engineer only gets back artifacts with mana value for 3 or less. It's not Goblin Welder. Have you ever hardcast the Parhelion? I don't think so. I think I've come close a couple times. Alright, recycle the Unearth. Iceman, 15 months. Kind of an easy double block. I wonder if I hold the Unearth, because they're holding up a red mana here. So I could either like I could either draw the Greasefang, mill it over, Unearth Greasefang. Okay, well, that answers that, huh? No way! Okay, my opponent has put, they've done 2 Solitudes already. They've done 2 Solitudes, and they're playing an 80 card deck. So like, they're not gonna have another Solitude here. Combos are good against Omnath, although maybe not creature-based combos, huh? Let's go. Oh, your Omnath gained you 4 life? That's cute. Okay, we're not going to sideboard super heavily in this matchup, I think. I think we're bringing the 4th Sculler over the 4th, I guess I'll cut the 4th Bird against the Rin deck. That feels pretty good to be double Solitude on 2 Greasefangs there. Yeah, I do still hate Omnath, though. Damn, do I hate Omnath. That card is just, does so much. Keep. Sequencing your lands can be a little weird in this deck. I think it's fine to play Overgrown Tomb here with the Jetmir Garden draw on. If I put it Ridden 6 the bird next turn, we probably just hold the Hierarch to discard to the Seasoned Pyromancer. Turn 2 Ridden 6 both games, bad for us. Another Greasefang. I guess now discarding one Greasefang is interesting so that it opens me up to drawing Unearth plus Engineer. If you type exclamation point overlay in chat secret, you'll get the info for the overlay. All right, Mountain. Discard a Greasefang as a Hierarch. 2 lands, not ideal. I do like that we can pressure the Ridden 6 for lethal potentially next turn. 3 mana, so Prismatic Ending on Seasoned Pyromancer. Don't mind that. Don't mind the ping either. Sculler is interesting, especially if I can find a engineer off this collecting company. I can go Sculler into Greasefang next turn, but I'll need another white source, so I'll take another white source. I'm losing my freaking mind with these Coco hits. I have 29. I have 29. I played 27 in the Bant deck. This is unreal. Stand up to give the Twitch Prime. Appreciate you. Okay, the number of your collected company hits do not matter. Do not matter. Frank Carson is lying to you. It's all about attitude and how good you think the deck is. I fetched 3 times in the deck too. Yeah, 29 hits by the way. Yeah, it's all about vibes. It's an excellent point. Okay. Not the scariest Ridden 6 I've ever seen. Was my record of the charge counters deck? I don't know. It wasn't that super high or anything. We started off pretty hot, then like finished off kind of medium. But we also just got like Force of Vigor and Engineered Explosives a lot, which is how you're gonna lose with that deck. I don't have that many black sources left, but I think I'll still play the Wayfinder first. If I mill over one, I guess I'll just put it in the hand, right? Okay, I milled over a Parhelion. Hold on. So we get to go now. Sculler, Unearth a Greasefang, and if they don't have 2 pieces of interaction here, we win. 2-0ing Omnath and complaining every single step of the way. Every single step of the way. 2-0ing Omnath and complaining every step of the way. Yeah, I think the Charge Counters deck is very fast, powerful, consistent, resilient to creature-based removal, but very weak to cards like Force of Vigor, Engineered Explosives. And so I think if those cards ever fall out of favor, because Hammer Time's falling out of favor, I'm super excited about the Charge Counter deck. YOLO. You will live. Ignoble Hierarch, you're going to live. Pencil to mill to 6. When was the last time you played the Charge Counter deck? I played it yesterday and Friday. I think I'm doing my Channel Fireball video for it this week. I recorded the deck tech yesterday. The deck tech took like a lot of takes because it's just like so complicated. I didn't want to go like too crazy with it. Okay, so maybe Belcher. Discarding Greasefang is kind of tempting, so that I can try to draw Unearth. I did draw the Unearth. So you cut random and just see if you miss it. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, It'll be good in some spots, but it's you know, it was either like play the 4th Satyr Wayfinder for me or play the 1st Rin. I'd say I wanted the 4th Wayfinder instead. I think the Belcher matchup's not very good, but the presence of Tidehollow Scullers is definitely going to improve it. Oh, okay, so if we draw a land, we can go draw step, Collected Company, and we can Collected Company, and Tidehollow Sculler, if we hit it, can take the Reforge the Soul, which is interesting. Wayfinder misses so much for me. Yeah, so the one side about Wayfinder is like, if it misses lands for you, it's still milling Parhelions, excuse me, and then creatures for Grist, or creatures for Unearth too. So it's kind of, I think it's pretty tough for it to completely miss in this deck, or like, you know, not care about the mill at all. So if I had discarded the Greasefang to the Seasoned Pyromancer, we win. We would have had exactly lethal. As it stands, I can engineer Tidehollow Sculler and Unearth Tidehollow Sculler, which I guess is like all I can do. But I need to be able to draw step it or instant speed it. Oh, I guess I could have actually unearthed the Oh yeah, I could have unearthed the Wayfinder, found a land, and milled over Parhelion. Yeah, that line was way better. Okay. So we'll check if we would have. I guess sorry, we shuffled. Never mind, can't check. Wait, they're passing? No, they're passing. No. I'm 1 mana short of Engineer Greasefang here. I do have another freaking Sculler though. Dang it. Why don't they have the win? Alright, let's go! Alright. The Sculler tech proven to be the new truth, huh? What an embarrassing game. I'm going to bring in the 4th Sculler. Fulminator's fine. Knight of Autumn / Force of Vigor are both fine. I don't want Grist. I'm probably going to go down 1 Parhelion, and then I could go down Satyr Wayfinders. So I can play like 2 Knight of Autumn. This is 30 hits for company. Just be an engineer for the combo. They don't have the win. I don't know. Do people just not play the? They don't play the Pact of the Titan anymore. The Pact of the Titan ritual to sack your guy. Surfing 80 months. Thank you. Because I always thought that was really important to go off in like that exact spot. I don't know why. They must have maybe I don't remember looking for it, but I don't know whether we don't have gone for it. I guess we saw their hand. Parhelion, the only Greasefang target, isn't that a little low? This is modern, you know what I mean? This is modern. This is not a format where getting back Smuggler's Copter or freaking Chariot is going to be a strategy that's going to win you games of Modern. You also have like lots of ways to mill over Parhelion, and you have Engineer to just tutor in the graveyard. This is like a 2-card combo with Goblin Engineer, and you have some other ways to get in the yard, but it's mostly just a combo, like a pure combo. This is not a format where you just have time to dope around and, oh, I'm gonna copter and loot. I'm gonna get some value because I'm looting. You know, just not that format. I guess I take the Turn Timber Symbiosis. They have like mono payoffs in hand. They Blood Moon me, that's fine. Ooh, baby. Let's freaking go. Trying to think if I'm ever having time to cycle the garden. I don't really think so. They conceded. Okay, after a really rough start against Affinity, we're up to 3-1. Let's get a 4-1 prediction going. I am liking this deck a lot. I think it's got a lot of potential. It just like really makes sense to me. Hey Tashi, how's it going? Let's keep this. We're gonna go for Garden Swamp Mountain, maybe? Misty Rainforest, 60 cards. I think I'm supposed to Sculler. I'm not 100% sure though, but this seems fine. Just like milling over like a Parhelion potentially and finding a 4th land for company is also like really good here. Okay, so very land-heavy Murktide draw that they kept on the hopes that they would be able to Shredder those lands away. Ristic Studies is having 2 Dominaria themed videos released to watch exactly that. That is very cool too. Is crazy. Ristic Studies has been going crazy this year. So much good good videos. I watched the Blind Eternities one earlier this week. It was really good. Okay, they put a Misty in the yard with the Consider. And they play a Scalding Tarn art that we don't know about. Definitely punished for mismatching the arts, but their hand is now Scalding Tarn Island, Flooded Strand Delta, Spire Bluff Canal, Mystery card. Any space for Skelementals. Demonic Tears, thank you for the 5 months. Appreciate you. Welcome back, buddy. I think I'm really low on Lightning Skelemental. I have been for a long time. Unfortunately, I know that a lot of people like that card a lot, but I kind of think that card is a big garbo. And again, it's also like this is a the Greasefang combo deck. Like we could just cut the Greasefangs for Skelementals if you want, but I've also been messing around with. This is a deck I really meant to circle back to and I haven't yet, but this is kind of like the John Fair stuff collected company deck that we were working on. That's you're using Endurance, Fulminator Mage, Grist, Croxa, Ren and 6 as your interaction. I think that I kind of like the main deck Fulminators more than the main deck Skelementals, but you could obviously sway me the other way. Okay, let's just attack first. I think I'm gonna play this a little bit slowly, not just jam the company into the counterspell when I can go next turn on Unearth Sculler into clear the way for a counterspell collected company. Could also maybe unearth something relevant post combat. Could maybe have also milled over Parhelion, Greasefang. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, so didn't find a land, but we did find lots of hits for Satyr Wayfinder, or for Unearth. I think I'll still just try to unearth the Sculler next turn. Is there no room for Ragavan here over one of the dorks? Yeah, we've talked about this a lot. The idea behind playing all dorks over Ragavan is that this is a deck with no removal spells outside of Grist. And Ragavan is definitely a lot worse without removal spells. It also, this is a highly synergy-based deck, or at least a somewhat synergy-based deck, and so Ragavan just like stealing random cards from your opponent in some ways matters a little bit less. I do think it's a conversation. I do think you could play Ragavan over the dorks if you wanted to, but that's why I'm choosing to play the dorks. But I also, I guess want to make it clear. I'm not 100% sure that that's the correct way to build it. Okay, so they do have the Sculler, or the Shredder. So, how much do we fear a Spell Pierce? I think I'm not going to fear it. All right. Guess that's what I get, huh? I don't know. I think it was fine not to play around it. Okay, am I gonna sacrifice Seasoned Pyromancer for, or not even sacrifice because they discarded a land? Yeah. And you had to click no twice. Yeah, for whatever reason, I'm not like aware of the fact that I'm having to click no twice there. Okay, I don't have a Parhelion in there, do I? No. Okay, I don't think I play the Hierarch and trigger Connive for my opponent. But it's dead on board too. It could have also been maybe just better to see some Pyromancer tokens. Okay, so if they discard a spell, they can block the Spyro. They don't discard a spell. Once rolls have definitely been really good. We're at a really high life total. And the ability to just like make tokens and 2 of those tokens being lethal is pretty good for next turn. Golo's Crumbling Vestige, Ephemerate. I mean, it's like, so if you're playing that in the Boros Blood Sun deck, it's kind of weird where if you have Blood Sun in play, your Vestige gets turned off. But if you don't have Blood Sun in play, you get Crumbling Vestige, you ephemerate your Golos. Like, how powerful is that? I guess it's still pretty good. I kind of like the idea. I kind of like it. I think it's fine. I do want to play that Boros deck, man. That deck was really fun. Opponent's acting like they can do something else here, but if they're gonna heat, they would have done it on their turn. I guess maybe they have Consider, and they're like, don't want to try to Connive or use my mana now. Okay, Murktide. Currently dead on board. Win 8 keys again? I don't know. I mean, I played it like all stream the last 2 streams, so I don't think I'm super likely to play it for like the next day or 2. I'm doing some Channel Fireball content for it though. Yeah, I think opponent discarding a spell to block a Seasoned Pyromancer was maybe what they had needed to do this game. I'm not 100% sure. I think playing the Hierarch is worth Fetch Shocking here. Could be wrong about that, but I don't think that they're going to be in a position to attack anytime soon. What is Ripping Gas, though? I've said Ripping Gas so many times in the context of a Magic game. I don't know why all of a sudden it's just like so funny to me. What that must sound like to people who don't play the game. If they attack, they're dead. A Grist should be lethal. Engineer should be lethal. Oh, they just don't have anything. This was a terrible concession from them though, because like if they like, I might not attack here. If I attack and they have a removal spell, I lose. They're representing a burn spell. Like, let me attack you in these spots. This is a very early concession. I was definitely not 100% to attack there. Alright, this has been sideboarding these kind of matchups. Gonna stick to it. -3 Sculler, 1 Herculean, 4 Endurance. Leagues with this deck are really fast. Should we cast the second Coco that got counterspell on opponent's turn? I mean, in this deck you mostly just want to main phase it. I know that like making them tap, you make them tap the mana upkeep if they have the counterspell, but this is a Greasefang Engineer deck, or Greasefang Engineer deck. I think you just main phase it. And they're not that likely to have another counterspell too. after having seen their hand earlier. Surely it can't be correct to attack as it can prior token next turn. Yeah, I was like way more likely to just make tokens than attack the following turn for sure. This hand's very slow on the draw. I think I'm supposed to keep. It's a hard matchup to mulligan in. Didn't you have 7 creatures versus 4 blockers and a removal spell? One of my creatures had 0 power. It was Ignoble Hierarch, so I only had 6 attackers versus 4 blockers and a removal spell, so they could go to 1 if they theoretically had a bolt. So, assuming I did my math right, which is, you know, like 80% on average to be correct. Just to play blue-white and Explorer, I hate the Greasefang matchup. It feels like you can play it perfectly the entire game, go 1 for 1. If they ever land 1 Greasefang, you just kind of lose. Yeah, I think that that is definitely my impression from everybody I listen to that plays Explorer, is that Greasefang is so popular. And I think that, I'm trying to think exactly like what the dynamics are, but I think that the biggest dynamic, like when you compare Explorer to Pioneer mainly, is that Nykthos isn't in Explorer, and so like the best deck in Pioneer, mono green, is just not represented at all. It's just not represented at all. And Karn, like a big dynamic of Pioneer over Explorer is that Karn the Great Creator turns off Parhelion. That's like a super important dynamic, and is like one of the main reasons, if not the main reason, why Greasefang's not that as popular in Pioneer. It's still, like, you know, played deck. Alright. Engineers not looking their best this game. I don't know. If we find a Greasefang, we're feeling good. Yeah, also, is Rending Volley on Arena? Because like Rending Volley is a super popular card to just like have 1 mana up, kill Greasefang uncounterable. Mike, after 2 months, thank you. Glad you liked the stream. It's not, yeah. There's no Supreme Verdict either, which is like sometimes you can tank a hit from Greasefang than Verdict. Although there's Wrath of God, right? Although Wrath of God is just not in Historic. Oh no, they added Supreme Verdict to Explorer. They or not Historic, Explorer. They added it, I think. Best draws, Greasefang. Seasoned Pyromancer, Collected Company, also good draws. Unearth is interesting. Especially if we can like resolve the Grist and mill some good stuff over. I went Rending Volley and CEDH. He's your Commander Felden. Okay, don't hate that with 2 Unearths in hand. Does casting Grist trigger Monastery Mentor? I think no. 99% sure no. So if I vote this week with your list but Energy Chamber, I was actually playing Energy Chamber in my first draft, so that might have been like just the first draft. The keys are way better, I think, after playing a bunch of both. Demon Fire, thank you for the 2 months, appreciate you. Yeah, cool to see that people 5-0'd with it. People were definitely, people were believing in that one, which is cool. I guess, for a long time people were saying that I just never brewed combo decks, but lately it's been like the Reanimator list, the Banned Coco's got the Infinite Turn combo, the Rakdos Sacrifice deck has, is kind of like a combo deck too. It's been the combo decks have been, and obviously the energy counters is like pure, real, raw combo deck. It's been good for the combo decks lately. So I'm playing Engineer so that I can minus Grist and have 2 different creatures to sacrifice so that they can't kill a creature in response to the minus. Also, but if they had a burn spell, they would probably have just already killed the Grist. Well, Dress Down is bad. Bad for me. Yeah, it's really the control decks that I never brew. Demon Fire 2 months, Spirit Walker 21. Thank you, thank you. Alright, so we'll just wait. I'm not going to unearth the Greasefang right now. Combo is really hard to just figure out. Yeah, for sure. Like, I agree. Like, brewing combo decks in Modern is, like, especially, like, a new one that's in any way competitive is... The barrier to entry is just so high. Could have unearthed the Grist. Oh, yeah. I don't know that I want to, though. I feel like being able to beat a counterspell this turn is like, more relevant. Although I could maybe... We'll see what we draw. We'll see what we draw. A green source would be really nice, because so I could go Endurance as like a bait spell. Okay, resolved. Lightning Bolt in my main phase. Let's Endurance in their upkeep. Let's Endurance in their upkeep. What would it take for Pillapala to be decent Modern combo? I mean, Modern is a format where Devoted Druid of Azir of Remedies is like not a playable combo or very fringe playable. Shout out to Rocco, I guess. Or a combo that's like not played at all. And like just like the reality is like these. Oh, well, I love that we made them tap so much mana here. I think we can keep this on top as well. I can just go main phase. Endurance, then Unearth if they don't have anything. Or I could also just Unearth and then Endurance. Endurance beats Unholy Heat here. Blossom again, think of it 22 months. Very curious how the Tidehollow Sculler has been performing. Sculler won us our last match against Belcher. It also won us our match against Omnath. I think it's been a big upgrade, just protecting the combo. We haven't gotten any engineer value with it yet, unfortunately, but it's been good. Where'd all the pieces of Reiki? Awesome, awesome. Yeah, that deck's really cool. Okay, I think if they do have a counterspell, they're very likely to just counter this Endurance, although it's obviously very suspicious I'm main phasing this, but maybe I'm playing around another Subtlety, Archmage's Charm. Unearth first speed Spell Pierce, that's true. I feel like playing around counterspell is a bit more relevant. Obviously if I get Spell Pierce I'm going to feel awful. Unholy Heat also doesn't stop me here. Best part of this plan, nobody can stop me. Yeah, so they can block the Engineer and go to 1. I think I'd be totally okay with that. Breezy, thank you for the 18 months. I think they would have brought in engineered explosives. It's so tough for them to beat 3 creatures at once. I think this will be 2 4-1s in a row with the Greasefang deck, which is, you know, pretty exciting. Archmage's Charm. Okay, Archmage's Charm means if they also have a bolt, they survive here. Okay, they don't. Opponent is like, they're not about bluffing. They're not about bluffing. Okay, so that's 2 4-1s in a row with Greasefang, which is pretty cool. Let's go ahead and open our chests, run it back, pay out the prediction. Open a Murktide Regent. Now the post.